Hi, Sammie. This is Sissy Wickes. Thank you so much for participating in Clinics for a Cause through the Online Riders Collective. We really appreciate your help in raising money for the Equestrian Aid Foundation, which is so very needed right now. So thank you. So let's go through your video. First of all, I want to say that your horse is just delicious. He's so cute. He jumps really, really well. I feel like I should apologize for saying that because you had to sell him. But what a cool little horse. So you sent 2 rounds. Let's go through them. The first round, I'll tell you, my first impression is that I'm not sure if he's a little sulky or you're not just quite asking enough of him. But I'd love to see the initial trot and your transition into canter and then the beginning of your course to be a lot more animated. I'd like to see him a lot more in front of your leg and a lot more together than he is. He just seems kind of lazy and you're coaxing him along a bit. And I appreciate that you don't want to look like you're kicking him in the ribs. But his frame is quite low. He's almost four-beating cantering right now. So you're approaching the first jump in this first round. You have a very good eye. You know, just where you are, that first jump was beautiful. I want to say that my main takeaway from watching you ride is that you perch over your hand. So your lower leg is fine, but if you just stop your frame here a little bit or watch the slow frame, if you can do that, you'll see that you're way up over the pommel of your saddle. And when you want to slow down, you tend to stiffen your elbow and put your arm down near the withers. And what that does is it pushes the horse further onto its front end. So what I would recommend, and you get away with it a little bit on this horse because you obviously know him really well, and as I said, you have a very good eye. So, but if we're talking about catch riding, I would tell you that's the first thing that jumped out at me, and I think that's the first thing that you need to address, and that is to get your balance back and pull the horse's front end up to you a little bit. And I'm not telling you to yank on the horse's mouth, but if you balance your upper body back, if you open your hip angle and just touch your saddle every once in a while, it's going to pull your balance back and it's going to get the horse off its front end. I think you'll find catch riding that you need a much more developed ability to put the horse between your hand and your leg. They're not going to be as kind and as much quality as the horse I'm staring at now, Capriccio. So you're going to have to really put your leg on them and get them up into your hand so that you can use that great eye of yours and determine what distance you're going to use and what their frame is and what their length of stride is, etc. So that's my biggest piece of advice for you about catch riding is to change your balance, to get your shoulder further back over your hip, and to think about getting your horse between your hand and your leg a little bit, not in a rough way, but in between your hand and your leg, and getting that horse so that it's balanced off of its front end more. Okay, now, finally we're getting to the second jump of your first round. He's starting to pick up his pace a little bit, which is good. He's so cute. I love how straight you are up this diagonal. I'm looking at the red flowers, diagonal, very nice. You do a good job using the ring here. You look well. Now look at your balance there. You see how your hand is back toward the pommel and you're leaning way up over your hand. And for a horse that's less good with its front end, your horse is quite good with its front end. For a horse that's not as good with its front end, your balance being ahead like that is going to make him either not jump in good form or hit the jump, one or the other. So this is a place as you go past the gate where he stalls a little bit and you're deep there. So you're deep in that second diagonal, going away from the gate, the natural rails. I think when he stalled, he just maybe caught you off guard and you didn't see exactly what you wanted into that line, but you rode out of it nicely. And now you're coming to the outside line. I believe it's a 2-stride. No, it's not. It's a 5-stride. Again, just a little deep coming in, but I think he just saw the in gate. All right, and then look how you finish your course where you're way up over your pommel and over your hand. So get the lower leg in front of you a little bit more and sink down into that saddle. Again, you can get away with a bit on this horse because he's got so much quality. But if you're catch riding, you're doing IHSA, you're not going to have that much luck, I don't think. I think you're going to find that it works against you. Okay, so now we have your second round. So you can see that the trot is already more forward. And I don't know if you did anything in between the rounds or if he's just quote unquote warmed up, but he's trotting in the ring with more pace. You get right to the canter. And it's less forebeaty, right? So you've got a little bit more horse in front of you. I'd still like to see more, but this is markedly better than the first round. Now you're approaching that first jump. Beautiful ride. Okay, so this is a place I'd like to see you squeeze and just get him up to your hand a little bit more. Bend your elbow, touch your saddle. Now you're going to the end of the diagonal. Beautiful, nice ride away. And again, I think it's great that you're smack in the middle of the jump. That means a ton to me as a judge. And also it's going to cause less rubs and less swaps. Just keep aiming to the middle. Coming down the outside line. Maybe a little deep. I can't tell, it's coming right at me, but he jumped it beautifully. And again, you use your ring really well. So there you're slowing him down, which is good. And then get your leg on him again. Touch your saddle. Get him back in front of your leg. Now we have that long, lonely ride to the single oxer, and you nail it. Good job staying patient, keeping the rhythm. And now you're making the turn to the outside on the left lead. And there, that's the two stride. Very good. Very good. So you're a solid, solid rider. And again, you have a very good eye. So I think you need to just develop your skills for when you're catch riding. Think about that connection between the hand and the leg, and think about the horse's balance. And be very cognizant of the fact that your position influences the horse's balance. If you drop your hand and you lean forward, and by leaning forward, your leg comes off the horse, you're pushing that horse right onto its front end, and therefore it's going to pull more, it's not going to jump as well, the canter's not going to be as good, etc. So concentrate on that. Ask your coach to help you with that, with your balance. And I think you've got a great career. Thank you so much.